I had been babysitting for a few years, but this job felt different from the start. The family found me through a local Facebook group and needed someone last minute. The mom was brief in her messages, just the address, instructions to let myself in with a code, and a promise to pay extra for the short notice. It was a little weird, but I figured they were just in a hurry. No phone call, no meeting beforehand, just a quick agreement. When I got there, the house was beautiful, modern, sleek, with huge glass windows. It looked like something out of a magazine, but that only made it feel more unfamiliar, like I didn't belong there. The parents left within minutes of my arrival. The mom barely introduced herself, and the dad didn't say a word. They just threw on their coats, mumbled a rushed goodbye, and were gone. It wasn't the warmest send-off, but I'd had weirder gigs. The kids, a boy maybe 6 and a girl around 8, were polite but quiet, like they were used to strangers in their home. They didn't ask about their parents or seem sad to see them go, which I found a little odd. Still, they followed my lead, eating their dinner without complaints and watching TV like it was just another normal night. I tried to make conversation with them, asking about their favorite shows in school, but they mostly gave short answers. The little boy fidgeted a lot, glancing at the sliding glass door in the kitchen from time to time. At one point, I asked if he was expecting someone, and he just shrugged. "Sometimes people come," he said quietly. That stuck with me. I wanted to ask more, but his sister gave him a look, and he fell silent again. I chalked it up to them being shy and let it go. By 8:30, I put them to bed, and they didn't protest. They barely even needed a bedtime routine, just brushed their teeth, got under the covers, and whispered goodnight. Something about it felt rehearsed, like they were used to making things easy for babysitters. I checked on them twice, expecting at least a little fussing, but both were still and silent, facing the walls. I pulled their doors shut and headed back downstairs, telling myself I was just overthinking things. The house was eerily quiet after that. No cars outside, no distant sounds of neighbors or passing traffic. It was the kind of silence that made you hyper-aware of every creak and shift in the walls. I turned on the TV for background noise, but it didn't help much. I couldn't shake the feeling that the house was too still, too watchful. Maybe it was just the big windows, making me feel exposed. I pulled my hoodie tighter around myself and tried to ignore it. I had access to the home's security system through an app the mom had set up. I opened it out of curiosity, scrolling through the live camera feeds. There were cameras at the front door, backyard, and even the hallway near the kids' rooms. Everything was clear. No movement. No one outside. It gave me some peace of mind, so I locked my phone and tried to relax. But I couldn't. Something kept gnawing at me, like I had overlooked something important. I thought about the little boy's words, "Sometimes people come." What did that mean? Was it family? Neighbors? I wanted to text the mom and ask, but I didn't want to seem paranoid. I decided I'd only message if something actually felt wrong. I did a final walkthrough of the house, checking the locks just to be sure. Front door secure. Kitchen door locked. Everything seemed fine, but the feeling didn't go away. I stood in the kitchen for a moment, staring at the sliding glass door, my own reflection staring back at me in the darkened glass. The backyard was pitch black beyond it. Then, at exactly 10 p.m., there was a knock. The sound sent a jolt through me. It wasn't loud, just 3 soft, deliberate knocks against the glass. I stood frozen, listening, my breath caught in my throat. No one should be here. The parents hadn't mentioned anyone stopping by. My brain scrambled for a logical explanation, but my gut was screaming at me that something was wrong. Slowly, I reached for my phone and opened the security app with shaking fingers. The backyard camera feed loaded, and there he was, a man standing right outside the sliding glass door. He was waving. Not knocking anymore, not trying to open it. Just standing there, smiling, moving his hand in slow, exaggerated motions like we were old friends. He looked normal at first glance, jeans, a dark jacket, clean-shaven. But the longer I stared, the more wrong he seemed. His smile was too wide, too fixed, like it didn't quite belong on his face. His eyes, even in the grainy footage, looked too focused, like he was studying me, waiting for something. I swallowed hard and texted the parents immediately. "Hey, there's a man at the back door. Do you know him?" I watched the message send, my heart hammering. No response. The little delivered status appeared, but nothing else. I waited, my pulse thudding in my ears, but the text remained unread. I glanced back at the security feed. The man hadn't moved. He was still smiling, still waving, like he had all the time in the world. Then, something at the top of the app caught my eye, a notification from earlier in the evening. I clicked on it, my stomach twisting into knots. Security system disarmed, 7:10 p.m. I had arrived at 7 p.m. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. The system had been armed before I got here. But 10 minutes after I arrived, when I was busy with the kids, someone had turned it off. Not me. Not the parents. Someone else. My hands were ice cold. I checked the front door camera, my breath hitching. Empty. The street was still, the neighborhood quiet. I checked the backyard again. The man was gone. I whipped my head toward the sliding glass door, expecting to see him standing there in the flesh. But there was nothing. Just my reflection in the glass, wide-eyed and pale. I stared at it, waiting, heart pounding. Then my phone buzzed in my hand. A new notification from the security app. Front door unlocked, 10:03 p.m. I stopped breathing for a second. My eyes darted to the hallway that led to the front door. From where I stood in the kitchen, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see who might be standing there. My brain was screaming at me to move, to do something, but my body wouldn't cooperate. My fingers clenched my phone so tightly that I felt my nails digging into my palm. I forced myself to take a step forward. The house was still deathly quiet. No footsteps, no doors creaking, no sounds at all. Just the distant hum of the fridge, and my own heartbeat slamming against my ribs. My legs felt weak as I crept toward the hallway, every step deliberate, slow. I kept waiting to hear something, anything, breathing, rustling, movement, but there was nothing. I reached the end of the hallway and pressed my back against the wall, just out of sight of the front door. I knew I had to look, but I was terrified of what I'd see. What if he was just standing there, smiling like he had been at the glass door? What if he was already inside? My stomach twisted. I took a deep breath, counted to 3, and leaned forward. The front door was slightly open. Not wide, just a few inches, like someone had pushed it open but hadn't stepped inside yet. Cold air from outside crept in, sending a chill up my arms. I swallowed hard and reached out, hesitating only for a second before shoving the door shut and locking it. My hands were shaking so badly I fumbled the deadbolt twice before it finally clicked into place. I pressed my forehead against the wood, trying to calm myself. What now? Calling the police crossed my mind, but what would I even say? That a man had been at the back door, and now the front door was open? What if the parents had unlocked it remotely for someone they knew? But why wouldn't they answer my texts? My phone buzzed in my hand, and I nearly dropped it. I looked down, hoping it was the parents finally responding. But it wasn't a message. It was another notification from the security app. Basement door unlocked, 10:05 p.m. A fresh wave of nausea hit me. The basement. I hadn't even thought about a basement. I turned around slowly, my eyes scanning the floor for any sign of an entrance. And then I saw it, the door at the end of the hallway, barely noticeable, blending into the wall. The handle was moving. I didn't think. I just ran. I bolted up the stairs, taking them 2 at a time, my only thought being the kids. My feet pounded against the floor as I sprinted down the hallway, throwing open their doors. They were still in bed, still facing the walls, completely still. Too still. I grabbed the little boy's shoulder and shook him. "Wake up," I whispered urgently. Nothing. My heart was slamming against my ribs. "Hey, come on, wake up." His eyes fluttered open slowly, like he was in a deep sleep. For a second, he just stared at me, confused. Then his face changed. His eyes widened in fear. "He's here," he whispered. I felt my stomach drop. "Who?" I choked out. Before he could answer, a loud bang echoed from downstairs. Not a knock. A full force, body slamming against the door kind of bang. My instincts kicked in. I grabbed the boy's wrist and yanked him out of bed. "Come on, we have to go." The girl was already sitting up, rubbing her eyes. I didn't wait for her to fully wake up. I grabbed her too. I pulled them into the master bedroom and locked the door behind us. My hands flew to my phone, dialing 911, but as soon as I pressed call, the screen went black. Dead. No warning, no low battery, just dead. The kids were trembling, their eyes fixed on the door. Another bang echoed from downstairs, then another. It was closer this time. He was inside. I looked around frantically. The only way out was the window. I rushed to it, throwing it open, cold air blasting into the room. The roof sloped downward just below it. If we climbed out, we could make it down to the backyard. I turned to the kids, about to tell them the plan. But then everything stopped. The banging. The noises. The tension in the air. Silence. For a full minute, I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. I listened, straining my ears for the smallest sound. Nothing. No footsteps, no doors creaking, no breathing from the hallway. Just silence, stretching out like it had never been broken in the first place. I reached for the security app again. My phone lit up. Full battery. No missed calls. No messages. No notifications. I hesitated, then checked the security feed. Every camera was clear. The front door was locked. The basement door was locked. The sliding glass door was locked. Like nothing had ever happened. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the master bedroom with the kids until sunrise, my back pressed against the door, heart pounding at every small sound. The parents came home around 7 a.m., cheerful, apologetic for not answering their phones. They paid me extra and thanked me for staying the night. I didn't tell them what happened, because when I checked the security footage before I left, there was nothing there. No man at the door. No basement door unlocking. No record of anything. But I know it happened. And the last thing the little boy whispered to me before I left, "He'll come back.